Let's dive into the discussions shaping the nation.
Minister, we've all read of the heartache endured by a mother in Cork last week as she witnessed people callously filming her son's final moments. I extend sympathy to this woman and her family at this sad and extremely difficult time. Unfortunately, this mother is not the first to feel such horror. Families right across the country have also been subjected to some similar pitiful actions. It has become common for people to record tragic events for the sole purpose of sharing or threatening to share them on social media. Images of road tragedies, injured victims, those suffering shock and distress, people crying for help, they've all had their anguish and fear reduced to public online spectacle. Misfortunes are reduced to grotesque entertainment. Emergency responders have also frequently spoken out about the heartless behaviour of onlookers who turned a tragedy into a clickbait opportunity. It is not only incidents like this that find their way into the public domain. Violent brawls, racist attacks, abusive actions and bullying are also considered fair game for recording. Blackmail is commonly used to threaten the victims who live in fear of the content being made public or sent to families or authorities. The grief and torment that these threats can cause is incalculable. Many victims are blackmailed for money. Others are coerced into illegal or unsavoury actions in order to buy the silence of their tormentors. Either way, the holder of the recording holds the trump card and the victim is rendered powerless to escape their clutches. The harsh reality is that nowadays absolutely nothing is deemed off limits. The sheer power of social media has destroyed social conscience. More and more it is responsible for wiping out respect and basic human values. Insulting, offensive, humiliating and degrading commentary is now the norm. This is mainly triggered by anonymous keyboard cowards. It is a malaise that is going unchecked. What kind of warped mentality leads to the posting of deliberately malicious and vicious tirades against defenceless people? The ferocity and intensity of hatred comments must be acted against. Social media has become the scourge of our times. It is a 24/7 presence and it is saturating the minds of people of all ages. It is destroying lives and we seem powerless to stop it. Our impressionable young people who are growing up in a world that is dominated by social media are being bombarded by inappropriate content that is becoming more easily accessible. Commissioner Mann has a much welcomed online safety code which is designed to ensure that social media platforms put in place measures to prevent uploading and sharing of harmful comments. Minister, can you outline the brief of Commissioner Mann?
Thanks very much, Deputy. I want to start by expressing my own condolences to the family of Luke Hyde. It's deeply concerning that in the first instinct some of those present when he tragically lost his life was not to help out, was to take out their phones and stream the incident. And it's a failure of basic human decency to take the view that social media clout is more important than the dignity and privacy of someone in extreme distress in their last moments. And when this sort of content is posted, there's very real harm done. The trauma of loss that families experience is compounded. There's a very real risk that someone close to a victim of a serious accident could find out through online courage. And these videos are not news. Images captured by the media depicting accidents and their immediate aftermaths, typically intended for news purposes, seldom include depictions of bodies to tell their stories. We now routinely hear of An Garda Síochána asking that footage of incidents, particularly tragic accidents, not be circulated, and I think we can all support that message. As the Deputy has said, the online media platforms have a role to play in removing the content as soon as possible. A new powerful regulator was established in the last government, Commissioner Mann, to enforce accountability in the the sector. Platforms are required to assess content and decide whether it's illegal or in breach of a platform's terms and conditions. If the platform fails to apply its terms and conditions, then Commission Man may review their actions and take action as appropriate. As provided for under the Online Safety and Media Regulation Act, and on Commission adopted and applied the new Online Safety Code for designated video platforms established in Ireland, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram and X. The code sets out what the platforms must do to protect users. In particular, they're obliged to put measures in place to protect children from harmful online content, have age assurance measures where appropriate, provide parental controls and user-friendly, transparent reporting and flagging mechanisms. In terms of resources, the significant exchequer funding was provided to support it, where it has expanded from around 40 staff to 200 currently. And relating to the broader legislative matter relating to online videos or images that may be put up. Obviously, the matter relating to the criminal nature of this is a policy matter with the Department of Justice, and dependent on the nature of such an incident, it may already constitute a criminal offence, for example, a harassment offence under the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Persons Act 1997. And as I've said, online social media platforms have an important role to play in removing this content as soon as possible. The longer this material stays online, the greater its reach, the more it can spread and grow, and the more harm it causes.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Lowry.
Minister, you mentioned TikTok there. Recently, the Data Commissioner fined 530 million for the improper personal data transfer from Ireland and the EU to China. And the most common question that people are asking since that news broke was, why would such data be actually sent to China? Is it that we don't have the capacity to store it here ourselves? And why was the transfer deemed inappropriate and improper? In other words, what was the reasoning and the logic behind the 530 million fine? Did the transfer of this information pose a threat? What was the reason for it? And also people are asking what this personal data includes. In other words, what kind of personal data is being sent to China for storage? And I could ask you, Minister, will the transfer of personal data from Ireland to other countries and continents, will that be an ongoing occurrence, and how will that be monitored?
Thank you, Deputy. Minister James.
So the Data Protection Commission plays a critical role as one of the largest EU data protection authorities, and government acknowledges its strong track record in carrying out its duties. As the lead supervisory authority across many cross-border cases, Ireland is generally the first point of response for new and emerging data protection issues across the EU, and by law it's entirely independent of the Department of Justice and the Government. It leads in the EU on the quantum of monetary fines imposed on draft decisions and the number of corrective measures enforced against online platforms. Its decisions have been approved by fellow data protection authorities in over 90% of cases. I'm aware, as you referenced, relating to the announcement that the Data Protection Commissioner has found that TikTok infringed the GDPR regarding its transfers of EEA user data to China and also its transparency requirements. I note that the decision was also reached in consultation with its peer regulators across Europe, as required under the GDPR, and that no objections were raised to the decision. And Government is very conscious of the commitment to deliver effective data protection regulation and privacy rights in the context of the DPC's role.
Thank you, Minister. And that concludes.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.